Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Please subscribe now to get the latest ancient history news and independent research from around the world. Most people think the largest pyramid in the world is the Great Pyramid of Egypt, but not many know that this title belongs to another. Known as the Great Pyramid of Cholula, this huge man-made complex in Puebla, Mexico is the largest archaeological site of a pyramid in the New World, as well as the largest pyramid known to exist in the world. In fact, it's the largest monument ever constructed by man. And yes, some will say that the Bosnian pyramid is larger, but the evidence for this being man-made is still highly questionable. It certainly isn't clear-cut, and therefore the honour of the largest pyramid goes to Cholula. It stands at 180 feet above the surrounding plain and has an enormous footprint of 1,480 feet square. The Great Pyramid of Egypt is taller at 481 feet, but with a base of 756 feet square, its footprint is far smaller than the one in Mexico. The volume of the Cholula Pyramid is 4.45 million cubic metres, whilst the Great Pyramid of Egypt is 2.5 million. Through the dating of ceramics and figurines found in the original pyramid core and through to the outer layers, the pyramid was built in 4 to 6 stages, starting in the 3rd century BC all the way through to the 9th century AD, and traditionally, the experts say it was dedicated to the god Quetzalcoatl. The style of construction, as well as the ceramics found at the site, means that this pyramid must be closely linked to those at the famous site of Teotihuacan. Both sites also experienced a decline at the same time. The post-classic Aztecs believed that Zulua, one of the 7 giants in Aztec mythology, built the Great Pyramid of Cholula after escaping a great flood. He apparently ascended to the mountain of Tlaloc in the terrestrial paradise and then built the pyramid. According to a Dominican friar, it was believed that before the Great Flood, giants inhabited the country of Anahuac, the ancient core of Mexico. They all perished in the inundation, except for 7 who fled to the caves. One giant, Zulua, surnamed the architect, went to Cholula and built an artificial hill in the form of a pyramid. The gods were unhappy that a building would reach to the sky, and to stop Zulua's daring attempt, they held fire onto the pyramid. Workers perished and the work was discontinued. Afterwards, the monument was dedicated to Quetzalcoatl. It's an interesting myth, and whether it is based on truth or not, it clearly relates to a forgotten time. A time of a great flood, and a time when fire apparently rained down onto Central America. Comparing the story of Zulua to the Younger Dryas video I released earlier this week, and certain aspects clearly do seem to fit. The myth of the 7 giants is similar to the 7 sages, or 7 bringers of civilization, that are found in other ancient civilizations around the world. The myth certainly makes you think, and although there is a huge body of thought that this pyramid is far more ancient than we are told, archaeologically it doesn't marry up with the work carried out on the Great Pyramid. The site was apparently abandoned in the 8th century AD as the city suffered a dramatic drop in population. Something we see across the region at this time, but the importance of the Great Pyramid remained. The site was once called Acalolan, meaning place of flight. Those that believe in ancient aliens will tell you that this is where the spacecraft took off from, but it is obviously more likely that people living there believed it once had original inhabitants that fled the site in history. The pyramid itself is really just a small part of a much larger complex, covering more than half a square mile. But, as stated, work on the pyramid itself is believed to have begun in the pre-classic period, with possibly up to 6 phases of building in total, 6 pyramids built over one another. Various archaeological discoveries have been made, including a number of burials and ceramics, but to this day, the pyramid has not been fully excavated. Sadly, during the colonial period, the Spanish severely damaged the northern side of the pyramid and then inflicted further damage to the west, after the installation of a rail line. Furthermore, in a mark of total disrespect, a Catholic church was built on top of the pyramid in 1594, on top of the pre-Hispanic temple that once adorned the summit. Today, this church is a major Catholic pilgrimage destination, which I have to admit does annoy me a great deal. This is an important ancient site of the indigenous people of Cholula, hijacked by the church in their efforts to destroy the true religious beliefs of the ancient people of Mexico. Most Catholic churches in Latin America are built over important ancient sites. The reason the Great Pyramid of Cholula has never been carefully excavated or restored is because we're not allowed. Because it's an important site of religious significance to the Catholic Church, which completely baffles me, I have to admit. I couldn't think of a more un-Christian site. Yet because of one colonial church, we cannot really learn a great deal about the largest man-made monument ever built on planet Earth. Before the arrival of the Spanish, to the people living there, the pyramid was sacred to the rain goddess, but her image was replaced by an image of the Virgin Mary, and the important date of the 8th of September, when the rain goddess was venerated, became a date to worship the Virgin Mary. But the church has been struck and damaged by lightning a number of times, so maybe the rain goddess still has some life in her yet. But damaging the pyramid on its northern and western sides, as well as placing a church on top, aren't the worst things done by the invading Spanish, because apparently they slaughtered more than 3,000 indigenous Cholulans, and not just the men but the women and children. After the bloodshed, they took the pyramid and claimed it as a Christian site. Apparently there was no Cholulan uprising, and the acts of the Spanish were not self-defense. It truly was a massacre. However beautiful the church is on top, and yes, inside and out it truly is, it has absolutely no place on top of this far grander and far more important structure. For those indigenous to this part of Mexico, it must be a constant reminder of the bloodshed of the invading Spanish. But although now an important Catholic site, some investigations into the pyramid have taken place, including the excavation of 5 miles of tunnels inside the pyramid. But these are not ancient tunnels as some say, because these tunnels were dug and mined in the 1930s, when people tried to learn more about the structure, and they did help us learn a great deal about the layering and construction. But no original entrance was found, but this was likely to have been on the damaged western side. You could also apparently access the pyramid in the northeast and southwest corners. Finds in, on and around the pyramid include clay figurines from when the settlement was just a village and also in the pre-classic era, and include nude females with complicated hairstyles. There were also figures of priests and gods from later periods that coincide with Teotihuacan. A number of musical instruments such as flutes were also found, as well as tools for making textiles, amate paper and axes. There was also a ceremonial sceptre made from bone and carved with images relating to life and death as a duality. Altars, floors, walls, and human remains have all been found inside the pyramid itself, as well as staircases from older pyramids within the Great Pyramid. The core of the pyramid was reached, and ceramic finds from the lowest level are apparently what date the earliest phase of construction to the 3rd century BC. If the pyramid is any older, and some believe it is, we do lack the material evidence to prove it. Despite being an incredible structure of great importance, it is not widely known about compared to the other pyramids in Mexico. These other pyramids, such as the ones at Teotihuacan, were allowed to be fully explored and then fully reconstructed, allowing them to become tourist destinations. But because this isn't allowed at the Great Pyramid due to the church on top, the structure beneath is less well known. Also, due to the damage inflicted to the pyramid, nobody really knows for sure how it once looked, and the damage is possibly too great to be able to return it to its former splendour, even if we were allowed. But we have to be thankful that most of the structure still stands today. This is the largest known structure built by humans, and from these models and artist impressions, it certainly would have been a truly breathtaking sight to behold. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Ancient Architects. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, and please leave a comment below. Thank you very much.